It is live. All right. Well, good evening, all, and welcome to another edition of Beer, Booze, and Boogeymen. This one is for. We are in May, correct? This May?
We are in May.
All
it's
right.
gonna be May.
Just
Gonna be
like
May.
Justin Timberlake said, it's gonna be May. It is May. We are here and excited to be here as well. And you know, I say it every month, but have we got a show for you? This month is our paranormal potluck. And unlike other shows that we've done, like Paranormal Palooza, I will not be blackout drunk halfway through the episode. Though. No, not tonight. No, to my credit, I did drink a whole bottle of whiskey throughout the episode, and I got us a lot of money raised for that paranormal thing that I did not even get to go to, me or Gil. So,
friggin' hurricanes! I tell you what.
Ugh.
God. I mean, you thought you guys were inconvenienced. I mean, we didn't have you guys. We were very inconvenienced.
You guys didn't even know where we were.
No,
to be fair.
No.
I got on the plane. I was just thinking about this the other day. I got on the plane because whoever's listening on the replay, whatever, I'm in the Pacific Northwest. So I flew across the country for this thing. Mm-hmm. I got on the plane and I think the hurricane was actively going and nobody had heard from you guys in about an hour. So I was like, okay, I hope when I get off all is well. Nope, that's not what happened. It was
right. Yeah, because we didn't hear from Gil until about midnight into the investigation. So
yeah. It was spotty. Too.
It was.
Yeah, I don't think we had any cell phone service for like the first 3 days, 3 or 4 days. So it was pretty crazy. Besides that, before we get into what is happening this evening, which the Paranormal Potluck is having, let's induce and introduce our hosts. First off, I want to introduce the best of the best of the rest. He was the first person to ever walk the Tennessee-Kentucky border not under the influence, and he is the host of the newly formed Only Ghost podcast, D-Boos.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I am here. Hello.
Mm-hmm. What you drinking?
Oh, we're gonna start right off. Oh, you're gonna do it during the intro. Shit,
I'm throwing you.
I wasn't even prepared. Per usual, I can't find anything hardly paranormally themed here. And I thought I was going to get lucky because I drive by this store every day. And there's a big fucking alien painted on the sign. So I was like, I'm going to stop in here. Maybe they got something. They didn't have shit. So, I went with the oldie but a goodie. I'm going with the Monster Beast. I got 2 different flavors, and I'm starting with the Tiki Terror. So.
Can't go wrong with the monsters. Monster.
I want to be honest, that sounds terrible.
It's not that great.
There you go. Yep.
Not that kind anyway. But
sorry, you finished off a whole bottle of whiskey there, Joey?
Tonight? Paranormal Parapalooza. I think I did.
Okay.
It was empty the next morning.
Yeah, I bet. I know. We know.
Yes. So was most of my room. I listened to most of the episode in bed while I was getting a call from Gil to make sure I was still alive. But moving on from blackout nights, also with us is the hardest working lady in the biz. Got the golden voice of sweet ambrosia and one of the most knowledgeable people I've ever met. Host of the Paranormal Girl podcast, K-Boos.
Hi, thank you. Your introductions are always so lovely.
They are.
I try.
I appreciate it.
Yeah. What are you drinking?
I seem to always luck out these days because I have a little secret store I go to here in town. So number one, I think I did get this one before. It's called Rainbows and Unicorns IPA. I got to go for the IPA. And this one's new. I'm so excited about it. It's called Magnetic Fields. Look at that can. It doesn't even have words, but I see it on the side. Magnetic Fields. I'm so excited.
Yeah, that's awesome. Hey, you'll run through those throughout the episode because we've got a good one tonight. Mm-hmm. We are sadly missing a soldier in our B3 army, though technically he's just lying on the beach and eating all he can and pretty much living the best life, much deserved. Mm-hmm. G-Boos. He is in the chat though, I think. So if you get a
He
chance,
is in the chat.
wave to him. Give him a little wave.
Coming to
I'm
you
your
from
other
the
host, Joey.
Philippines.
And he said he wants us to drink every time somebody says his name. So
Okay, never say his name again. And I'm just your other host, Joey. But tonight's show is the Paranormal Potluck, so aptly named by, pretty sure, by our very own D-Boos, right?
I'm
Paranormal
guessing
Potluck?
so. May have been me.
We've got really, really special guest hosts with us this evening. And I guess we can go ahead and introduce them. You want to go? Let's get them in here.
Let's get him in.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Right. Yep.
First step. Ray.
Yeah, here we go. First
Oh,
up is
Ray
Ray
Causey.
Causey.
I was going down.
Second up.
Jereme Leonard. Jerome Leonard. He is here.
Jereme. And
not last.
oh man.
Oh,
How?
Coming in hot. Ugh.
Yeah.
The Iowa
Welcome.
Chainsaw Massacre.
Welcome, guys. What
Oh,
are you
man.
drinking? What are you guys drinking?
Well, I got my little Scooby-Doo cup here.
Hell yeah.
Oh,
Got some
nice.
good old southern sweet tea up in there.
I'm empty right now. Let me go put this down.
Ray, you didn't get the memo? No ghost drinks? Can you hear me?
I don't know. He may be lagging.
Oh, okay. All right. We'll carry
all
on.
good.
He will catch up.
Yeah. So we are going to talk to you guys, ask you some questions about 28 Days Haunted. We're going to have people in the audience ask questions from you guys too. So I have not seen the show, but I did find out that it's based on the theories of Ed and Lorraine Warren, and you guys basically went and looked up to see if some of these were real, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, with all the interviews and everything that came out after the show, pretty much all of us from all the locations kind of agreed that after about 15 days of being there, that's when things for all of us kind of went zoom, ramped up.
Mhm.
And I cannot hear Kristen at all.
Really? Oh, no.
Yeah, I haven't heard her since she put us backstage. She muted herself for us.
No. All right. Can anybody hear me?
I can
I
hear
can
you.
hear. I can hear you.
I can hear.
I don't think-
Well, I guess I'll just do the whole show without hearing her.
I can't hear him.
Oh no.
Ray
All right.
can't hear
No.
anybody.
You can't.
Shoot. Ray.
Ray is frozen in time.
He
Ray.
is.
I can hear some people. I can't hear other people. I can't hear Nick.
Oh, wow.
What the
boy.
hell?
Okay.
It's you. It's something with you. Your guys.
I say I could hear him earlier. I can't see. I can't hear.
I mean, if y'all want to try
Interesting.
to back out and come back in, we can try that.
Yeah, I'm
Sure,
gonna
I
back
can
out
do
and
that.
I'll come back in just a second.
I will be right
Okay.
back.
All
All
right,
right.
guys.
I love technology. This is things
We
you
do,
struggle
and-
with while you're trying to work through things.
Always. Always.
That's why we're professionals.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Well,
what
it
they
was.
call it. That's what everybody calls us.
It was going to be a full screen tonight, so this is kind of a first here. Interesting
Yeah.
to have so many faces on at once. But that was, yeah, I did have a follow-up question about the 15 days to kick it off, like, and I have heard, just through listening to you guys, Jereme, on other interviews and podcasts and such, but like that 15-day mark, basically like halfway through,
Yeah, so
that's when it really.
it's based off the Annie DeVille horror house more than anything. The Lux family stayed there exactly 28 days. And I will tell you, the longer you stay there, the more rampant it gets. I mean, the location we were at the last week, Brandy, you see us outside a lot. And that's because when the sun went down, she refused to be in the house till the sun come back up. So,
Wow. Yeah, you guys had it tough there. I mean, all of the locations were tough for any given reason, but geez, you guys had a wild ride there, and I hope that we will get into it. If anybody hasn't seen 28 Days Haunted, which I'm not sure if it's been a couple of years, so I hope we're not like ruining anything for anybody. But
spoiler
alert,
we all survive.
Yeah, we all survived.
It looks like Nick can hear now. Breaker, Ray, are you good?
Yeah. I can hear everybody now.
Oh,
That's
wow.
the AirPods
Okay,
in,
sweet.
so I think I'm good.
okay.
All right. Good
Yeah,
deal.
Well,
see you.
3 of you guys survive. There's 3 here. Not everybody's here,
Yeah.
so we're not spoiling it. So
At least we have one person from each location here, so
You know-
locations.
And that didn't even
okay.
click with me until like after like I heard back from everybody. I was like, I've actually got at least one person from each location. I was like, that actually works out really well. So,
Yeah.
and it's been a while since I've watched the show. I was supposed to do my homework and rewatch it, and with work, I work like 50 hours a week, and by the time I get home, I'm just so fucking tired. But I did watch the show when it premiered, and I absolutely loved it. And not long after the show came on, I actually had Nick on my show. I think
That's
he
neat.
was I had him on my show, and we just, other than Kristen and Joey and Gil, Nick, honestly, you were probably my favorite guest I had on my show.
My man, all right.
He had an effect.
We haven't seen the show in a long time either, so this is going to be new to all of us. So,
But
Did you
luckily,
guys watch
Kristen
it after?
did her homework, and so she can kind
I
of,
did. OCD
Yeah.
for the win, you guys. Yeah.
did you guys watch your own show afterwards? That was a question I had too, just to see, because I know you
Right.
probably guys didn't edit it or anything like that, so
Well,
you didn't know
no.
what was. Yeah.
In my opinion, it's the worst paranormal show in history. And the reason why is you got 3 teams that filmed for 28 days, 24 hours a day. And then once they do all of that, Netflix come back and says, "Oh, we're going to give you 5 40-minute episodes." I mean, so much stuff was left out. It's not
I'm
even
sure.
fun. I mean, when you watch the show, I'd imagine from y'all's perspective, nothing makes sense because there was so much that had to be cut out of it.
Yeah.
Well, that's the
Yeah,
kind of stuff I want to know. I want to know, like, behind the scenes, what got
Right.
left on the cutting room floor. Like, I felt like at the end there was some things left unshown, unsaid, and some weird. I don't know what to call it. It was especially, I noticed it with your part, Ray. There was a moment in Denver's arena where there was maybe some misunderstanding or just some things left unsaid or unshown. Do you know what I'm talking about? Yeah.
So
But like, yeah, go ahead.
So like that whole little like disagreement that they showed, they stretched it out for like 2.5 episodes, basically making it out like it was some like massive disagreement. But the truth is that entire thing was like one 45-minute conversation. And like after it was all said and done, we're just like, all right, cool. Yeah, we'll go to something else. And what they didn't show was like everything that we all talked about, like the mirror scrying and all that. Like I mirror scried, Shane mirror scried, and Amy didn't feel comfortable. And after we kind of hashed it out, it was like, all right, cool. You don't have to do anything you don't want to do. We're just trying to figure out, where everybody's boundaries lay. And they just kind of made it seem like we were just like ganging up on her, but like it really was never like a big thing. I mean, when you're with somebody for 28 days, you get under each other's skin a little bit. So like we were all just kind of like on edge the whole time. So I mean, they made it seem like we were all like hating each other, but like we were with each other 24 hours a day. We were kicking it pretty much all the time, just hanging out. And then like every once in a while we'd have a disagreement about something and they'd be like, oh, this is definitely going in the show, because they wanted more drama than paranormal. They didn't want a paranormal TV show. They wanted a reality TV show, which is fine because the producers were credible, but like they come from the reality TV realm. So, it's the same people that made 60 Days In. So they're used to making reality TV and not paranormal TV. So they kind of like leaned into the drama more than the paranormal. I think that really kind of put us at a disadvantage with other paranormal TV shows.
Yeah.
If they wanted fights, they should have just told us, and we could have, had the most insane arguments. You didn't flush after you pissed, stuff like that.
And that's actually the funny part about my location is like me and Shane fought more than me and Amy fought because I've known Shane for years. So everything he was saying was pissing me off from like day one, and like they didn't show any of that. So like people who know me and Shane, they know that like me and Shane fight like husband and wife because I mean we've known each other for so long that like we'll fight about food. We'll fight about like if he eats the wrong way, it pisses me off. Like there's so much stuff that me and him fought about, and they didn't show any of that. So
yeah, they got to craft the narrative, man. Yeah, got to keep them viewers coming back.
I mean, I did 2 hours inside of a psychomantium and was like having visions and talking about things that I was seeing and hearing things inside of the house, and they didn't show any of that. And
see that's crazy. I would much rather see the paranormal side of it than the bickering and arguing stuff. Like, because when this show came out, like the paranormal shows were like at their peak. They were like everywhere, and like they really had the opportunity to grasp onto that, and they're like, well, let's make it like a soap opera instead.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this really could have been like the peak for Netflix's paranormal like kickoff, and they just kind of I feel like they approached it in the wrong manner, and they kind of set it back without they just didn't. They didn't give us enough input, I feel like, because I mean Jereme's been on TV. We've all done this for years. So if they had they had a year to edit this show. And I mean they did the best they could with the people they had, but like I feel like if they had have asked for our input and kind of had us help them out a little bit, I think it would have looked a lot better, and they would have been able to keep a lot more stuff. I mean, we were all there for 28 days. You really think any of us didn't do anything for 28 days? Like there was plenty of stuff they could have kept in, and it could have, each team could have had their own season where they had 6 episodes each. So it just kind of sucks for us because we had it, we were so hyped for this show, and then like after it came out, we all just kind of like, I know I texted Shane and I talked to Nick and all that, and I'm just like, damn, this is a lot different than I expected it to be.
Oh, well, that's shitty. Yeah, especially if you guys really didn't know some of these things or the directions they were going to take until it premiered, and you're like, oh, cool. Okay.
Well, so
everybody that was involved in the show is an active paranormal investigator. All of us have made films, our own documentaries for YouTube. So, I mean, that just sparked my mind what Ray said about they could have reached out to us. Like we didn't hear anything until September of the year it premiered. And it was like, oh, by the way, the show's coming up online tomorrow. Don't try not to get canceled.
And you know what's crazy is like we literally like we just found out that it was going to be coming out. Nobody reached out to us. We happened to see like a what's coming to Netflix thing, and then we saw ourselves, and it's like, oh shit. And then we all start texting each other like, yo, did you know the show was coming out? And then like we finally reached out to the producers, and they're like, oh yeah, I guess it's coming out next month. So like that's as far as it came. And then we finally got some like 5 pictures to market when it finally was coming out, but it's like nobody gave us any kind of heads up at all.
Whoa.
Yeah. So look, this is what I think would happen. Ghost of Morgan City, I have a little bit of insight on how it works. So whenever you
love that show too,
to a network, when you sell a show to a network, all right, the network could change anything they want at any time. So what happens is whenever you're done filming and the production company makes an episode, they have to send it to the network to get okay for the network. And the network can change and tell them to take out anything they want. And I think what happened was in the beginning, before we filmed, I think the production company thought we were going to get at least 10 to 12 1-hour episodes. I think that's what happened. I think that Netflix, when it started coming, Netflix got a little bit antsy about it, and they ended up cutting it down to, 5 episodes? Yeah.
6, yeah.
Yeah, 6.
6. Okay, 6.
Yeah, don't sell it short. We had a 6 episode run.
That's right. We had 6, man. We almost had a season.
It was a good season, guys. Good season. Well, Damien, I think you've got questions. I just had one more. Jereme, I wanted to just hear from you. What did they cut of your and Brandy's portion that you really wish they would have kept, or made something not make sense?
Well, let's see what I can say legally. All right.
Hey, that's expired. Let her rip, Tater Chip.
We're past all that.
The town officials did not want us there to start with. Okay, they did not want us there at all. So where we were, the guy that killed his entire family, he was part of a Masonic lodge. Okay, let's just say hypothetically they were upstairs. They were doing stuff they shouldn't be into. Okay. I get where I'm going with this. Now, the lady that you see Brandy interview, okay, she wrote a book about it. I think it's called Christmas Murders or something. Well, this is how bad that town wanted to keep this secret. Whenever the book came out, the town bought all the books, and they had a massive book burning right there in Times Square.
Shit.
Okay. Now, with that being said, there was a lot of stuff that the production company didn't put in there because of possible repercussions of legal action. Okay. That is why a lot of stuff in our situation doesn't make sense. Now, with Brandy, so Brandy has never been in a dark environment before. Okay. Now, I knew a little bit. I knew it was going to be a very bad location before we even went, even though I didn't know anything about the location. The producers told me, look, we're going to stick you there. You know, this is what you do. That's where we're going to put you. And, you know, it was terrible. There was so much stuff that was left out. Like, for an example, when you see me go to the hospital or leave, you know, I had a heart attack. Now, they can't put that in the show for obvious reasons, a HIPAA violation for one. So that's why they passed it off as they did. So, yeah, there was just so much that was left out that, you know, if you would have known, it would have made it a lot more interesting and everything would have made sense.
So we just seen bits and pieces of everything that really went on, and they just kind of pieced it together to kind of confuse everybody more or less.
Yeah. So if you go back now and you watch the scene at the table where we're fighting with Amy, if you watch it closely, you can see how edited it is, where it's like different scenes cut together. So if you look at, we're so robotic with our responses to each other because it's not exactly how the conversation went. They chopped and pasted it together to make it look more like aggressive than it was.
Damn.
You guys have like different clothes on, different hairstyles in between each one. There's like, no, it was the same scene. It was the same scene.
Yeah. Ray in the same scene. Ray goes from mutton chops to a full beard.
Yeah.
So, and I know, I know they have to edit stuff and all this jazz, but like they should make it at least a little bit more believable, at least on the drama part, because like Jereme, with you and Brandy, like you asked her to get in that casket, and I know it took her longer than 2 seconds to jump in that casket. So it's like, okay, let's drag it out and see how you actually convinced her to get in there. It's pretty much, let's put you in this casket, and the next thing you know, she's in the casket. Like nobody just voluntarily is going to jump in a casket that quick.
Yeah,
So like it would have been interesting to see how you convinced her to actually finally get in there.
Yeah,
I will say that like as far as edit, sorry, Jereme, but as far as editing goes, you like the biggest issue I think for the producers and the editors is, I mean, there was like, I know in my location, I can't speak for the other guys, but like there was probably 50, 60 cameras running 24/7. So for these editors, they're watching all this footage. They're having to go through 50 cameras. I mean, it's like 7,000 hours of footage, and then they're having to cut and paste and put it together. So like the fact that we got anything like remotely close to a story out of this, I mean, I give the editors and the producers credit, because like they had to comb through a bunch of like us rolling around in the bed and like, just doing absolutely nothing for 90% of it to try to find some usable footage. So like, I will say that they did a good job of actually making a TV show out of thin air with all this footage they got. Now all the cutting room floor stuff could probably be another season, but they did a really good job.
Yeah. I'd like to jump in on that. I think it was around day 20. I was in the kitchen and it was like 3:00 in the morning. I was getting ready to go to bed and I was grabbing a bottle of water and I just happened to look over, and these cameras that they're watching us with, they had somebody run a night shift out in the trailer and they would just watch for us moving around, and they could point the cameras at us to see what we were doing. And I was grabbing the bottle of water and I heard this camera turn and look at me, and it was, probably where my fridge is. And I just remember looking at the camera. I went, "What?" And the camera went, "No."
I got that beat. So somewhere there's footage of me and Brandy at about 3:00 in the morning. We're delirious and we decided to play Twister right there in front of the camera. So
I would love to see that.
Right?
Yeah, that was hilarious.
Oh, see,
Dang.
they easily could have made at least three or four episodes per team and made it like a 15 episode type thing and showed a little bit more, and like even like that, like kind of like the funny stuff, add a little bit more to it to keep it going. And I don't know, and they could have built on this theory, and they could have made a season 2, a season 3 if they really wanted to.
Yeah, I'd stay up until 4 a.m. every night just reviewing the audio and stuff from our night's investigation, and we would save it onto a thumb drive and send it out to the trailer. And we did that for 27 days of just reviewing audio and sending them EVP and clips from the spirit boxes and stuff like that. And they used zero evidence on all 3 locations.
Yeah, I was going to say, there is an ungodly amount of footage of me and Shane literally playing every single audio file, every single recording, everything for like 4 hours every morning when we woke up. We would just go back through and listen to it. And like, we'd chop, paste, edit, and save it and give it to them every night. And like that shit's just sitting in some Netflix vault somewhere. Some of the coolest footage and some of the coolest like EVPs and everything that I've ever found is just setting in some Netflix vault somewhere to like rot for the rest of eternity.
Yeah, and like for us, so we've done an experiment where we used a Jacob's ladder that was built by KD, and it was massive, and we shot fog through it to energize it, and we took pictures. And I mean, we got some really great pictures of manifestations in the fog, and they didn't show not 1 second of footage from that whole.
See, that's crazy. That's
what else? Netflix has probably hours of just sitting on the cutting room floor. People farting in their sleep.
Oh, I'm sure.
I am so curious, like the things that they had to weed through.
I know for a fact that poor woman that ran the trailer saw like morning wood every day times 3 in Connecticut.
So I'll tell you this. So with our bedrooms at the Lumber Baron Inn, the bathrooms were in the bedrooms, so the showers were in there with us. And we had our bedroom camera set up in the corner, and there was a black piece of tape that we would cut. We were allowed to cover the camera when we'd shower. And so, this one piece of black tape was supposed to last all 28 days. We were just supposed to pull it off and put it on. So by like day 12, that piece of tape was worn out in my room. So I just remember I get out of the shower and like that piece of tape is just dangling down, and I'm just, I'm living my dream. I'm just drying off and just walking around. And then I look up and that tape's gone, and I make eye contact with the camera, and I can feel the person making eye contact back with me. So yeah, there's probably
Ray
hours
said,
of
Ray
footage
said,
of me
this is how a helicopter works.
At least you had a shower. So, at least y'all had a shower.
Yeah.
So, I
will say this. I will say this, like, out of all the locations, I try not to complain the most because, like, we were in a mansion that
Yes.
like had like 3 stories. So like we didn't have it as bad as Jeremy and Brandy, and like Nick was there with Aaron and Sean, and like they were cooped up in this little house basically. We had this massive, huge mansion with a decent backyard. We had like a porch swing that we could hang out on. So like it was, of the 3 locations, I got lucky. So I'll give them that.
Man,
My,
just
our,
rub it
our,
in.
our house in Connecticut was built in 1754. People back then weren't 6'7", 330 pounds from Iowa. So a lot of the door frames were like here. My shower head in my room hit me right here.
Oh,
So like to wash my hair, I'd have to be like,
Damn.
Jeremy's like, boo-hoo, Nick. I had to shower with water from a Dixie cup. Okay?
Right. So let me
Like-
tell you what. Let me tell you what we had. We had a piece of plywood. All right, basically a makeshift door. We had a 5-gallon hot water tank because the production company had to build this before we got there. So you had five gallons now of hot water. Once that's gone, bro, you just taking a cold shower. We didn't have central air. It was in the middle of summertime. We had windows in, and the place was freaking miserable. So yeah, and then we had to turn that off when you investigate. So yeah.
didn't a hurricane roll through North Carolina at that time too?
No, it rolled through Louisiana. When I got home, dude, my house, everything was destroyed. I had no clue.
That was Ida, right?
That
I was in
Damn.
Louisiana. I went through Ida. Yeah.
Whenever my wife picked me up, and she said, so there was a hurricane, and so the producers took our phones. We didn't have no phones or anything. We didn't have TV. We didn't have radio. We didn't have nothing. But anyway, I knew the hurricane was possibly going to hit Louisiana before I left. Well, anyway, she had texted my phone, and the producer came and told me that everything was okay. Well, when she picked me up, that's when she told me that everything got destroyed and showed me pictures. She knew I would have left. So, it was pretty bad.
Oh,
Damn.
yeah. Our house got pretty bad. Black Cat report there. Whoever wants to answer it. What are the
I'll
pressures
answer.
of over? Okay, go for it, Jeremy.
So
Please.
any TV show I have ever been on, all right, I will tell you 100% fact. Producers never pressure you to do anything. Okay, I have never been asked to over dramatize anything or anything. See, the problem is, let's take where I was for an example. When you see me confront the entity, the show tells you absolutely no reason why I'm doing it. You have no reason or no knowledge to know why I'm doing it. You just see that I'm doing it. That's the power of editing. Okay, so I have never been asked to fake. Put pressure on me to dramatize anything.
Okay. What has that?
With
Was that the
our show,
There's no
so
producers there.
Right, with our show, it's totally different than any other show, is because like we didn't have any contact, so it was just they dropped us off at this location literally like blindfolded, and it was like go inside and just start living, start figuring it out, do what you need to do. We'll come see you in 28 days. So there's no pressure from anybody. It was just they like the day we went, they taught us how to turn on our mics, and they taught us everything we needed to know. They taught us how to turn on the handy cams and all that. Other than that, it was go in the house and we'll see you in a month. So there was really no pressure. Everything that happens kind of happened organically. And then later on, they may have edited it to make it look a little more over dramatic. And that the pressure that they probably had was from Netflix. Like, hey, there has to be a storyline. We can't just throw out a show that has no kind of, that doesn't have a beginning, middle, and end. So that's kind of different when you're dealing with Netflix, because this was their first paranormal venture. So they didn't understand that the paranormal doesn't have to have a story. Paranormal is just about telling the story that's already at the location.
Yeah, they I think they realized they screwed up by hiring actual paranormal investigators early on, because One thing I heard a lot is, now remember, Nick, this is supposed to be a scary ghost show. I think they were honestly looking for a lot of like YouTube thumbnail reactions to things like,
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
I'm
one
scared.
night we were in the cemetery and we were looking at the graves, and I heard a walnut thump the ground next to us. I was, that was weird. And I was kind of watching out of the side of my eye, and I saw a producer lob one. Whoop! And I was listening to Sean talk, and I just turned and caught it and went back to listening to Sean talk.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh,
Wow.
Have you actually seen a producer?
Yeah. Yeah.
Hey,
They were there.
Look, we never seen a producer. Look, we seen two people. We seen the guy that comes and change your batteries. Okay. And then you had the guy that brought the food to the place at least once, and all they do is they come and stick it by the front door. Now, when you see us talking into the camera, all that was done at one time toward the end. I mean, at least with us.
Well, mine, Connecticut filmed first, so it was probably all hands on deck just to kind of figure out how things were going to work for the show in general, not so much Connecticut, but just to kind of for them to get in the groove of things. And yeah, they had to escort us across the street to go to the actual cemetery, not the cemetery that's behind the house in Connecticut. There was one across the street where the Grants were actually buried, and yeah. So they were there. They were there with us for that.
Yeah, because we had less than that. We didn't even have anybody change our battery packs. Like we had a charging station that had batteries in it, and like we had a walkie-talkie. And if our batteries would die, they'd be like, change the battery, and then that was it. That was as far as it went. Like I said, we'd have to turn ours on and off. And if you went to the bathroom and you forgot to turn it off, you know that you were just in there just rocking and rolling. There was nothing they could do about it. It was live. You know, you were just dropping bombs.
I would never turn it off in the bathroom. I'd do like the Austin Powers like whistling thing, and then like hold it and then go again, and yeah, just screwing with them.
Your production team loved you.
They loved me. You know what they hated the most was Aaron is real fidgety, and Sean is a musician, so he'd have his mic on and he'd just out of habit start like drumming on himself.
Oh no.
And the little guy comes in and he goes, "For the love of God, stop!"
oh man.
So I have a theory. You said something, Nick. That's interesting. So they filmed you guys each location one at a time, correct?
Yep.
So they started with Connecticut. My theory only works. Who was next?
Us.
Jereme.
Oh, dang it. Okay, you ruined my theory, Jereme. I was going to say by the time they got to Jereme and Brandy, they were just like so over it. And they were like, hey, how do you guys feel about camping indoors? Here's your poop bucket. Bye.
Yeah,
you know,
here's your bucket and an MRE.
So,
let's get this out onto a tray.
Doesn't
Me
yeah.
and Brandy,
So
I don't know if y'all can notice or not, but in the show, me and Brandy are literally sleeping at it's a store, it's a business, all right, and they have these big old glass windows in the front, and our beds, because Brandy refused to sleep upstairs, we put our mattress on the floor in front of the counter where they check out. We were literally like zoo animals. During the day, people would walk past and they see us and they're sleeping and they're like wondering what the hell's going on. I mean, it was hilarious. We felt like zoo exhibits.
So I'll say this: that the way it was filmed, there was a slight overlap with everybody. So Nick and them finished, and 2 or 3 days before they finished is when Jereme and Brandy started, and then we went in about 3 or 4 days before Jereme and Brandy finished because we knew that the first team was already done before we went. We already knew that they had finished. So we had a little bit of information as far as the filming went, but like there was a slight overlap. Each team got shipped out like, you know, a few days in between. And so by the time our last four or 5 days, we had like everybody was there making sure the last few days went well. Because I know when we finished and we actually got to meet the crew, I mean, it was like everybody was there that was from all the locations. They all showed up to kind of, you know, as the final scenes were being filmed with us.
See, like for us, chaos, the very last week is when all crap just went crazy where we were. That's when I approached the entity. That's when pretty much all the drama you see from us happened within that week.
Yeah.
I was
And
never
another
so
thing-
happy to get out of there. Please.
Yes, Nick.
Another thing about the show is I had no idea who else was on the show besides the three of us in Connecticut. I only knew Shane was a part of the show because he had posted something on Twitter that says, I'm going away for a while. I'll be back in after a bit. Then he posted a picture of him and Ray in Denver, which the executive producer mentioned that they would be in Denver for one location, and it was like Shane and Ray sitting at the airport, leaving Denver, heading back home to Georgia, and for those of you watching at home, Shane is this tall compared to me, so
Oh,
take that, buddy.
Oh man.
So
cut
I
size.
messaged Shane, and I was like, hey man, I think you're a part of the show that I'm a part of that we're not supposed to be talking about. And he goes, and I said the production company goes, yep, that's me. And so I only knew Shane was on the show until we had to go to Los Angeles the year the show came out. What was that, 23 or 22? And then I got starstruck and saw Jereme for the first time.
Starstruck. He seen me. He was like, hey, Ghost of Oregon City. I'm like, calm down. All right.
Yeah. And then met Ray
Yeah,
for the
that
first
was
time,
a-
and we accidentally drank a 30-pack in Los Angeles and got yelled at for jaywalking. That was fun. That was a great core
Yeah, that
memory
was
with
awesome.
Ray.
Fun
Yeah.
time.
accidentally drank
Well,
a 30-pack. Accidentally.
Everybody's going to hear the train go by my house
Oh,
here
we
shortly.
hear it. We hear it.
It's coming.
That's a joy. I've lived in places like that. Damien, I don't want to step all over you. I got more questions about techniques and equipment, so I'm gonna hold mine.
We're good, but I do think we should take this moment as the train's passing by to mention that there are going to be no live calls tonight, because that's the big thing that Gil is control of whenever he's here, and so we do have.
You said his name. We have to drink.
I did say.
Oh yeah,
man. Dang.
R.I.P. Rest in Philippines.
There it goes.
But we aren't going to have any live calls, but we do have. I think we got 2-3 story submissions from people to read, but we will get to those whenever we feel we need to get to them. So, but yeah, no live calls tonight. Anybody watching, if you do have any personal paranormal stories, anything with ghosts, aliens, cryptids, whatever it is, you still have time to email that to us. And I didn't know what that was. And
beers clinking.
Yeah, I had to squint the old eyes there. So, but yeah, you can send anything, any stories you got, beer, booze, and boogeymen @gmail.com, or you can just go to our website, ghost.beer, and send it that way.
Yes. We'll get
Nick,
you.
are you
We'll get
sponsored
you
by Busch Light? Are you sponsored by Busch Light? I see the flags in the back and everything, the cold beer, and slowly, methodically walking to the fridge, kind of looking into it and being like, yep, another one. Walking right back out.
Yeah, I'll have to have another Busch Light. Thanks. I'm in Iowa. That's like, we hydrate with that. They're like, you should have some water. No, give me another Busch Light.
You should try Miller Lite. It's much better. Just saying.
I used to accidentally sit down, drink 30 Miller Lights, and build a shed. Then, one day, I think in my 30s, it started giving me headaches, so I had to switch to Busch Light. And we're back to building sheds. Actually, that chainsaw I had earlier is the chainsaw I almost severed my entire thumb with.
Oh damn!
Wow.
I was sober that night, but
that's what was wrong.
You're like, never do that again.
Yeah, never accidentally drinking beer and playing with a chainsaw ever again. But
yeah. Who has what? Did somebody ask what happened? Am I hearing things? I'm hearing things. It's the ghost.
Your house is haunted. Don't call
it really
us.
is. I'm not an investigator, though. I need an investigator.
We're afraid of the dark, so
So what
yeah.
Oh shit. So what did you got, Kristen?
Oh, the story?
Whatever direction you want to go.
Oh,
Yeah, let's
well,
hear some Art Bell stories.
yeah, I could read the story.
Yeah.
I am going to ask these questions before we let these guys
Oh
go.
yeah.
Yep.
All right. So yes, this story is titled Haunted Happenings, and it was submitted by Teddy. I grew up knowing that death doesn't end a person, not in my family anyway. My Uncle T proved that. He was protective in life, the kind of man who carried his military discipline like a second skin. But he was even more protective after he passed. My mom and my other uncle still talk about the day he died. It was one of those unnervingly calm days, the air so still it felt like the world was holding its breath. Then, out of nowhere, a wind blasted through the house. Curtains snapped, papers flew, and the windows rattled like someone had thrown them open from the inside. A minute later, the phone rang with the news of his passing. From that moment on, I swear he never really left. When I was a kid, I'd see his shadow pacing along the walls at night. Not a trick of the light, a full, tall silhouette moving with purpose, like he was on patrol. I never heard footsteps, but I always felt him. Sometimes the air around me would warm, wrapping me in its strange, comforting embrace. I didn't understand it then, but I knew I wasn't alone. And then there were the louder moments. My mom had this old Betty Crocker recipe box she kept on top of the fridge. One day, right in front of us, it lifted, actually lifted, floated for a second, then shot across the kitchen. It missed my sister's boyfriend's head by an inch. He turned pale, muttered something about needing fresh air, and never came back. I can't blame him. The house itself seemed alive. Water would roar through the pipes even when no one had turned on a faucet. Doors opened on their own. Cold spots appeared in rooms that should have been warm. And this was after the place had been remodeled with brand new pipes, so there was no old house settling excuse to fall back on. But it wasn't just Uncle T. That house had seen wakes, family members laid out in the living room, prayers whispered into the walls. Their spirits lingered, some out of habit, some out of love. Some because they weren't ready to let go of the people still living inside these walls. Even after I moved out and got older, the visits didn't stop. They just changed. Now they come when something big is about to happen. A shift, a loss, a blessing, a warning. I'll feel that familiar warmth on my shoulders or catch a shadow in the corner of my eye that disappears the second I turn my head. It's never frightening. It's grounding, like someone saying, I'm here. Pay attention. I know some people would be terrified by all this, but me, I consider myself lucky. Not everyone gets to walk through life with a whole team of loved ones watching from the other side. Not everyone gets a guardian who refuses to stop protecting them even after death. Uncle T still stands guard. My family still lingers, and I still feel them every time the world shifts beneath my feet. Teddy, you're a good writer.
Right.
Dang.
That's pretty wild.
Yeah.
To have that
Painted
happen.
a picture with words there.
Right.
Mhm.
To have all that happen in your house right before you get to use it, somebody passed away. That's pretty
Yeah.
wild. Oh.
Yeah. And then for them to only like they reach out now when something big is about to happen, which, you know, I've told you guys, like my passed on deceased family member does that sometimes, messes with the lights in my car whenever something's about to happen. It's weird.
Yeah.
It's
What's
like
that
one of those
called?
twisty
A
dials.
premonition?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's a ghost doing it. I've had premonitions. But this is different. He's sitting in my driver's seat and turning the knob. I'm like, that's weird.
I actually had a
Oh.
spirit follow me home from an investigation one time, and it never left my truck. So I'd just be like driving, and then all of a sudden it'd be like a shadow in my rear view mirror, like in the back seat of my truck, and it'd be like, Jesus.
Oh no.
Yeah,
That's
Damn.
scary.
yeah. I actually had like a pagan witch like do whatever to my truck and with sage and whatnot, and yeah, it cleared it up, but it was just unnerving for the longest time to drive at night.
Oh, I bet. Oh man.
Heck no.
Oh.
It's like you are now driving a Chevy, and the ghost's like, God, I only riding forwards. I gotta leave.
Yeah.
I don't know whatever truck you had. Did I guess right? It was a Ford.
No, it's a Chevy.
Oh, well, there you go. Yeah.
Yeah. Silverado.
There you go. All
I
right,
think
Kristen,
it's
go.
crazy that the what was it, the Betty Crocker recipe box flew at the boyfriend, and then he just nope. I mean, I probably would just be like, yeah, I think I'm out too.
Yeah.
Honestly, if a Betty Crocker recipe box flew at my head randomly,
Right.
somebody's
Yeah.
When it gets
No,
into
I do
culture-
not want crafty Jello molds with spam and grapes in it.
when it gets into poltergeist activity like that, I don't know, I'm like on the edge here. I don't know what to think, because like I love afterlife, stories and like communications with deceased loved ones, and I love that, and the signs that they can give you, that kind of stuff. But then when they're throwing things and like touching you and pinching you and stuff like that, that's like maybe yes, Nick. Nick has a theory, has a story.
Now, I don't have a story. I would just like to give the floor to Mr. Jereme Leonard, because after 28 Days Haunted come out, him and I did a podcast, and he's got quite a few poltergeist stories about things flying. So, Mr. Leonard, take it away.
So, look, here's my experience when it comes to, earthbound spirits and haunted locations. So, earthbound spirits. So, let's put it to you this way: when you die, okay, and I know a lot of people go to like cemeteries and stuff and do paranormal investigation. All right, think about this: when you die, you have absolutely no connection with your body whatsoever anymore. Okay, so you're still a conscious being, you're still a conscious energy. So you're going to tell me you're going to hang out in the cemetery where your body is that you have absolutely no connection to whatsoever anymore? Or are you going to hang out somewhere that you were familiar with when you were alive, a place that gave you comfort? I would say you're probably going to hang out in a place that gives you comfort, not in the cemetery. Okay. Remember, when you're communicating with spirits, there's no rule that says spirits have to be honest with you. Okay. No rule. So I always take when doing an investigation or communicating with spirit, take it with a grain of salt. Now, the demonic realm, let's say, they don't haunt locations unless they're bound there. Okay. Unless they are bound there. They don't want to haunt locations. What do they want to do? They want to inhabit or possess people. That's what they do. Now, with that being said, they have to have permission to possess you. Now, people say, well, that's crazy. Who would give, So how can you prove that? Well, think about it. The Roman Catholics call it the rite of exorcism. They say spiritual right. Just like you have to accept God into your life, the same rule applies to the demonic. You have to invite them into your life. Now, that's a lot easier than you think it would be. Anytime, let's just say, let's go back to the cemetery. You're communicating with the spirit of Julie, which is 9 years old. Why? Because it says it right there on that headstone, right? So why would a demon present itself as something, scary when it needs you to invite it in? Why not pretend to be something harmless like a little girl? Next thing you know, you start getting personal with the spirit. Anytime you get personal with a spirit, you're inviting it in. That's what makes Ouija boards so dangerous. Not the fact that it's a communication device. It's the same thing as listening to a spirit box, right? But most people do it in their own home, which is what? Their safe space. And that's how they invite them in, because they're more prone to get personal with it. Now, with that being said, like the story that you just read, earthbound spirits do communicate with their loved ones. However, it's usually called indirect communication. Why? Because if they try to communicate with that loved one directly, they run a risk of having a demon come in and try to pretend to be something that it's not. Okay, so it's a safety mechanism for us to live in and for the dead. They won't communicate directly. However, like for an example, my wife, grandmother collected dimes whenever she was alive. My wife will find dimes all the time. Okay, that is her saying, I'm here. However, her grandma has, responded to me directly. I've seen her twice in my house since we've been together. So they will communicate. They will let you know they're there. That warm, loving feeling. Yes, energy. Look, energy never dies. Okay, it just transforms itself from one state to the other. So of course, yeah, when that person, even though it doesn't have a body anymore, that energy is still there. That spirit. And look, you could tell, like if you're married and your wife's standing behind you, you know her presence. You could feel her presence. Just like your loved ones, you could feel their presence as well. You know that presence in you. I think it's a beautiful thing, the story that you just read.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Was that okay, Nick? Okay.
You still got it.
I got you. I don't know the rest of you. This is the first interview I've done in like 2 years.
Yeah.
No, that's great. That's great. Well, yeah, Jereme, you're. Oh my gosh, I've only ever gotten to speak to one other like demonologist and exorcist, and he was a Catholic priest, or had been, Plato Angelakis, and it was a fascinating talk. So this discussion really fascinates me personally, just about demons and how that interacts with the spirit world.
I was trained by a retired exorcist. His name was Father Joseph Padre. He passed away. It's probably about 5 or 6 years now, but he's the one that taught me.
Wow. Mm.
Do you still do that?
I haven't done it since 28 Days Haunted.
Wow.
I've been afraid that it's going to find that weakness, and maybe I'm not right to put that armor of God on so the demon can't see through me. If fear interferes, because look, when you confront those things, you have to have full authority. You have to visualize it. You have to feel it. You have to be that energy of authority. They'll tear you down, man. They'll chew you up and spit you out. And I've been afraid of that, but I am planning on getting back into it. I think I'm finally there spiritually again. I don't have that fear anymore, so we'll see where it goes. Baby steps.
There you go.
Can a demon ever be good?
Good in quotes.
I often think about that. Look, believe me, if I'm the kind of person, if I don't know something, I'm going to tell you I don't know, and I don't know the answer to that question. But I will say this: I think about that all the time. Can a demon be remorseful? When you think about the fall, the war in heaven with Lucifer, I think he can. However, let's look at it this way: if a wife is in a bad marriage, with an abusive husband that beats on her and just belittles her and has complete control of her, does she have the courage to break away from that? Most of them don't. Okay. So think of it at that point. I think that maybe they can. However, look, that's the difference between angels, the angelic, and us. We can repent. We can ask for forgiveness. Okay. That is the gift that God gave us. All right. By Jesus dying for cross. He paid that sin so that we can repent. We can sin and ask for forgiveness. However, angels cannot. They do have free will, but once they commit, God can never will forgive them.
Man, that sucks. If you want to drink a 30-pack on the weekend and like break down somebody's mailbox.
Right.
If I may jump in.
Go ahead, bro.
Is the succubus a demon? Because that's pretty good, right, Ray?
So let me take it. So this is my theory on the succubus. I think most succubus are self-manifestation. Okay, so what do I mean by self-manifestation?
I manifested about 48 of them. All right.
So let's think of it this way: self-manifestation. So let's just say a man has an addiction to porn. All right, he watches it every day, all day long. Completely takes over his life. Okay, now that's lust. That is an energy, right? There's positive energy and there's negative energy. They can't coexist. They can't occupy the same space at the same time. However, they both have to exist. Okay, energy feeds off of itself and it draws in more of its own energy. So with this addiction that this person has, lust. All this energy, man, he's just pulling it in, and it's growing and it's growing and it's growing. Well, it gets to the point where the human body can no longer sustain that energy anymore. So what happened? It goes out and it affects the atmosphere in the home. Okay. Then it continues to build, it continues to build, and continues to grow. Well, next thing you know, that person is being affected by that energy and begins as a sexual energy. All right, so here you are. So most people don't know this. Your thoughts, there's nothing physical about your thoughts. It's purely spiritual. However, you're visualizing everything I'm saying right now subconsciously, whether you realize it or not. So that's called manifesting. You're taking something pure spiritual, you're manifesting it through your thoughts, and you're perceiving it in the world in which you live in. Okay, so you're taking something from a pure spiritual state and you're manifesting it into a physical state. Now, with that being said, your subconscious gives this energy life. Okay, it becomes an intelligent energy. All right, it can do all the same things a demon can't do. However, during an exorcism doesn't work. Why? Because it's not a pure spiritual being. It is a self-manifestation. All right, so how do you get rid of that? Well, in order to get rid of that, you have to cut that energy off. You have to remove it and replace it with something else. That's my theory on it. Now, could I be wrong? Yeah, I could be. That's the way, that
So,
come to believe.
so that means that, so that just means that Nick exuding all this sexual energy is causing all these problems.
Dana tell what he does in that garage right there when there's no camera.
Yeah, that garage is just a succubus summoning.
Well, welcome to the Thunderdome.
I bet he doesn't have a black light in there. Yeah.
I do, but it ain't plugged in. It's actually over there on the shelf.
I'll turn it on, buddy.
So what Jereme described sounds like every YouTube paranormal investigator ever. You got 25 videos and they're each titled "Worst Night of My Life." Are you manifesting all these horrible nights?
Right.
And you know what aggravates me about those types of paranormal investigators? They're telling a story or they're explaining a piece of equipment or something like that, and they're telling you wrong information, and you're like, dude, you're supposed to be a paranormal investigator. You got 500,000 subscribers on your YouTube channel, and you can't even get the basics right. How does that happen?
Mm-hmm. Right.
Yeah, they got a spirit box and they're sweeping at 350 milliseconds per station, and they're like, this spirit sounds like Blake Shelton, you guys. Holy shit!
Oh,
jeez.
Yeah.
Well, you guys certainly did something, a one of a kind thing. Sorry it's an awesome conversation. I'll drag it back to the show. But you guys really did something unique, and it's so interesting that it was based off of the Warrens' theory of the 28-day cycle. Mm-hmm. I've only ever met one other investigation team that does something similar, not to the extent that you guys do, but they do these prolonged, like over the course of years, investigations at a particular location. It's the Searcher group up in Ontario, but they don't like stay overnight. They don't camp out like all throughout.
Ray's wearing their shirt.
No shit. What? No. Yeah, that's your group. That's your group.
The
Searchers. Well, shout out to the Searcher group. Shout out to the Searchers.
Yeah, Josh and Shane, the real Searchers. The down south Georgia
your buddy
Searchers.
Josh a couple weeks ago. He was at the Paracon down there in Lafayette,
that's right.
Louisiana.
Yeah.
So let's go back to that. You're talking about these unfortunate Canadians investigating the same place over years and years and years. Last Friday, I visited fabulous Edinburgh Manor here in Iowa. Ooh. It's only an hour down the road for me, and I've been going there since 2013, and I've probably been there over 35 times. And last Friday night, I went there and I turned my SB7 Pro on. Toot, toot. I turned my SB7 Pro on, sweep speed of light speed. And I said, hey, it's Nick. You guys remember me? I'm back. And we instantly got a response of, hey, Nick, where's Aaron? Aaron from the show 28 Days Haunted lives here in town with me. Him and I started out investigating together back in 2009, and we Cinderella storied all the way to Netflix, kind of like Ray and Shane. But it was just fascinating that as soon as I turn the SB7 on, they say, "Hey, hi, Nick, where's Aaron?" Like, because I've been there so many times with Aaron, they were like thrown off that I was there by myself with with meeting some other people.
But that's because they wanted to talk.
Yeah, they wanted to talk for the rest of the night about nothing. But it just threw me for a loop. And if I may toot my own horn again, I have the APFD processor, so I was able to rewind that and actually send that to Aaron. Look, dude, they're asking for you. You need to, stop doing whatever you're doing and get out here. They miss you.
See, there's like a certain level of evidence that you cannot capture unless there's like prolonged exposure to a location. You just can't. What would you say? Oh, go ahead.
I've found that if you announce that you're not recording, your personal experiences are going to go through the roof too. Which it sounds shitty coming from a TV investigator, but that's just the way it is. Just try it for yourself and just I'm not recording anything. I'm standing here empty-handed, and just you can take my word for it. You'll hear more knocks, and you'll just have better experiences. It's like they don't like being recorded. It's like over time of, especially at a place like Edinburgh Manor or Villisca Axe Murder House, where there's people there every night doing the same dumb shit. What did it feel like when you died? Or, not three times.
But back here, they're asking the same thing the other ones did.
But if you flip the coin over to the obverse side and say, look, dude, I'm not recording a single thing. Give me something. I'm here to talk with you, and I guarantee you, you're going to have a better personal experience than you would be if you're saying, all right, I'm here. Show me something,
And scene.
And scene. Action.
Talking about
that might be something we have to try, Kristen, next time you're on an investigation and I'm on one.
Hell yeah. No, we got a bunch of new stuff to try next time, because we do need to do another meetup with the B3 crew. Last time we went to the Night House. Have any of you guys been to any locations in Tennessee?
This was in Kentucky.
Oh no, this was in Kentucky. Sorry, I flew into Tennessee. Sorry.
I was just going to say, Ray's the only 10 I see.
Oh,
my man.
My man.
It's so humble about it.
Yeah, so I've been to the Octagon. I've been to Octagon Hall in Kentucky.
Love Octagon Hall. That was my wife's very first investigation, and that place made her a firm believer. So, yeah.
I haven't been to too many places like that. In fact, I try not to communicate with the dead unless I have to.
Right.
Yeah.
Even
though I do watch other people do it. I do watch.
You just straight up quit.
Yeah. He did.
No, right?
I know. Sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Joey.
Jeremy, I know you're like what changed with you from the show, but for Nick and Ray, is there anything from visiting like a bunch? We're just talking about visiting something like a bunch of times. Is there anything that when you visited a bunch of times, like something changed at that location, or like your thoughts on the location changed? Like you're like, oh man, this, you either go like, this is crazy that this happened, or hey, I'm done. I'm not going to come back to this place anymore.
Well, I find a lot of truth in what Nick said. A lot of times, whenever you're not focusing or focusing your energy toward communicating with the dead, that's when you'll get something. You know, and also one thing that I like to do is whenever I enter a location, I go in absolutely with no preconception whatsoever. And look, I'm sure Nick can tell you this. I'm sure Ray can tell you this. I'm sure Kristen, all of y'all that's been in the field for a while. And when you do it so much, you learn familiar energies. Right? You can walk into a place, and within 10 minutes of being there, you can feel that energy and at least have a concept of what you're dealing with, what type of spirit, whether it's mischief, sadness, whatever. You look, you learn that energy when you're in that presence quite often, which we are.
Yeah.
Ray, you got anything?
Yeah, so I'll say this. So since the show came out and since I stepped away from searchers full time, like all of my investigating has been done privately, and I've taken my kids and stuff like that, but it's not been like, aired out for the world to see. And it's been a totally different experience because you don't feel that pressure to, find something. So if nothing happens, you're like, all right, well, it is what it is. So I think that it's refreshing for me to just go into an investigation and be like, well, if something happens, it happens. If it doesn't, then, so be it. I don't have to worry about, you know, performing for an audience or giving an audience something to look forward to. Like I'm just there to give my kids the experience or give whoever I'm with the experience of being able to say they've investigated. So it's been refreshing to make it all a private thing for the first time in years since I've been doing this. So
Yeah, but it's a
There you go.
totally different experience. Ray, you've got word on the street. You got like 5 kids, right?
Yeah.
yeah, I have
Yeah.
I have
Any
I
of
have
them?
5 of my own.
Okay. Any of them following in your footsteps? Anybody want to be an investigator?
So my oldest 2, they've investigated with me. They enjoy it. I don't know if they're gonna do it to the extent that I did it, but they're both kind of, they enjoy it. And then my younger kids, they like to watch it, and they all like to watch the show, and
Yeah.
they'll get on because like Shane and Josh have Beacon TV now, so all the stuff I did with Searchers is on Beacon TV. So they like to
Nice.
watch all the other documentaries that I've done, and then my girlfriend, her kids, they like to watch it because suddenly their mom's new boyfriend is he's on Netflix, so I got some brownie points with them and all that, but yeah, I mean
Street cred.
it's yeah, I get a little bit of street cred with my girlfriend and her family, but I don't want them to actually watch the show because the show made me look like an asshole, but other than that, yeah, it's like if my older kids are like, hey, I want to go do it, then I'll make some phone calls and be like, all right, well, what days are available and what's the price and all that. But if I'm not doing it with somebody else, like I'm not as like going into these locations unless I find somebody that wants to do it with me now.
Yeah. And see, and that's another thing. If 28 days is the cycle, it's the magic key, like I don't think most paranormal investigators could do that. We can't afford it because places are so expensive nowadays.
That's why I find that doing household and I love doing residential hauntings. To me, you get a lot more activity doing a private home than you do most hauntings.
I mean, you just go to the website for Captain Grant's and the Lumber Baron Inn, and I know Captain Grant's to like rent the entire house is like $1,800 a day.
Dang.
Yeah.
And I imagine the Lumber Baron Inn is not cheap.
Right.
And Netflix really shelled some money out to have these places exclusively for 28 days.
I'm sure, yeah. And that's why I don't get on the road too much anymore because these things, some of the places are so expensive, and as long as I've been doing this, we don't do too many personal residences because one, you just never really know what you're getting yourself into. It's kind of one of those things. Okay, are these people legit, or maybe they're schizophrenic and maybe they think they're seeing these things and these things are happening.
Yeah,
And I'm like,
Investigation.
It's
Gotta figure it out.
it's like, it's kind of like, do I really want to go into a house where they said, their coffee tables flying across the room every night? But and Kristen and Joey, I haven't mentioned this to you guys yet because I'm still debating on whether I want to do it. But yesterday, I know I told you guys about the coworker that passed away in a car wreck about a year ago.
Yes.
So that was a year ago yesterday. And so her mom came into the store a few days ago. Hadn't seen her in probably 3 or 4 months. And, she was like, how's everything going? Yada, yada. And I knew when she came in, I knew exactly what she was going to ask me. And because I knew it was getting close to being a year. And she was like, so, how much would you charge to come out to the house and see if Caitlin is still there? And I'm like, well, I wouldn't charge you anything. It's not why I do it. I don't charge people to do anything like this. And she's like, well, I just really want to know if she's still there. There's some stuff that happens that, makes me think it's her. And I was like, well, I can, I'll do it. I'll come out there. Me and my wife will come out there. It's just a matter of not money. It's just when we can do it, And in my head, I'm like, are you really ready for that? Like, if we get anything remotely close to your daughter, are you ready to handle that? Because I know, like, some people it would be kind of therapeutic and, it would help them. Other people, I don't know if she's ready because she says she's just now getting to the point where she's getting out of the house more.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, how would you guys handle kind of a personal situation like that where it was somebody you personally knew and their family member said, hey, can you come to my house to see if they're here?
Well, for me, I would just tell them, let it be. If the spirit wants them to know that she's there, they'll find a way.
Right.
I mean, look, I tell people all the time, they call me and say, man, well, I got this going on in my house and that going on in my house. And I ask them a simple question. Is what's happening in a house, is it hurting you in any way, shape, or form? Are you frightened? No. Is anything being thrown at you? No. Okay, leave it alone. Let it be.
Mm-hmm.
I'm with Jereme on that one. Like, I ain't gonna actively go out and look for it, but it reminds me of a story that happened last October. I was invited to help out at an event here in town at the German American Heritage Museum here in Davenport, Iowa. It used to be a shitty hotel from like the time it was built until the time it was closed in 1992. And the German museum took it over and they rebuilt it and remodeled it, and it's really nice now. And we were in there investigating one night with a large group of people. It was a public event. And I had the SB7 going with the APFD recorder or processor going, which is, for people that don't know, the APFD is like a DVR for the SB7. So you can rewind 10 seconds and re-listen to things. And I'm standing there with a large group. And this lady that was with us, she was like, oh my God, that just said my name. I'm like, well, let me rewind that. And sure enough, there it was again. And the lady says, the only person that ever called me that was my mom. And I believe her full name was Melinda. And when she said the only person that ever called me that was my mom, it says, Melinda, I'm here with you. I'm always watching you. I love you. And I was able to replay that as many times as I wanted for the entire group. And it was as clear as day.
Indirect communication.
There was 15 people bawling their eyes out that night. And when it's stuff like that's truly beautiful. But like to like go out and like actively look for someone's loved one, it's a double-edged sword, because you're either going to find them and there's going to be tears, or you're not going to find them and there's going to be tears. So like I'm with Jereme, just I don't want to help you with that, unfortunately. I'm sorry.
And not only that, so here let's flip the other side of the coin. All right, so your intention of wanting your loved one to be there, think of that in energy, okay? You're wanting something, okay? So, that's a negative energy, man. You push it, and look, to those entities, that's a freaking like a policeman's lights going. It's flashing light. Let's go there. They're very opportunistic. They look for opportunities, and that's how they get it. That's why earthbound spirits usually will not communicate with their loved ones direct. Think about Nick's situation. It used Nick to communicate, to send a message to her. It wasn't direct. It was still indirect because it used Nick's device through there. It wasn't a direct communication with the family. There was an intermediate there.
Ray?
No, I agree. Residential, and like when you're so personal with it, it's hard because like there's really nothing you can do that's gonna help that person. There's so much emotion tied to it that it's hard to separate the emotion from the investigation, especially if you know the person. So it's just easier to stay out of it than it is to put yourself in that position. Because if you do find something, it's going to break their heart. If you don't find something, it's still going to break their heart. So there's not a situation where you're going to win, because it's going to be hard to separate the emotion from what you're actually doing.
Right, and that's what I thought to myself after she left. I'm like, okay, if I go out here and I capture something that says her name or her voice, it sounds like her voice, her mom's going to be a wreck. If I capture absolutely nothing and nothing happens, it's going to break her heart as well. And I'm like, do I really want to put myself in the middle of that? It's like, even though I would want to know too, because I knew the woman, but I'm like, her mom lives in the house they lived in. I'm like, do I really want to do that? And I've been kind of like, I was like, I really don't know what I should do.
Yeah, there's really, like I said, I feel like there's never anything good that can come from doing residential investigations, because there's so much tied to that location, and the people are so involved in it that it's not there's no scenario where you win. Even though I know it's not a win and lose situation, but it's like there's no situation where someone's going to be satisfied with what they find. They're either going to be hurt because there is something, or they're going to be hurt because there's not something. So,
right.
Or continue to want more, and just if you do hear something, just be like, hey, can you come back like next week? And it just keeps like a train rolling of like, hey, they're still here, and if kind of,
or you have to have that awkward conversation like, hey, can you go away for a while? It's free week on Pornhub, and I don't want to. You can always count on me.
Yeah.
Cheers to that.
Oh.
Well, all right. I'll butt in. I got a question. I got. Jereme.
Yes, ma'am.
You wanted to say something. I want to hear it. Schizophrenia versus demonic possession. What's the how do we
Everybody
go about
get
that?
a chair.
Oh, this is the long. Okay, all right, ready.
So, from a demonologist perspective, I always go into a location or a haunting. I tell the client I don't want to hear anything until an appointed time I'm across that person. Okay, because my job as a demonologist is to find out, one, does this person show signs of being oppressed and possibly possession? Okay, because I will tell you this: possession mimics bipolarism and schizophrenia almost to the T. Okay, now as a demonologist, the worst thing that I can ever do, and I mean the worst thing I can ever do, is do an exorcism on somebody who has a true mental problem, because you're going to create more alters than she already has. And that's something that you can't undo once it's done. So how do I determine whether this person is showing signs of maybe schizophrenia? And then again, maybe it could be an oppression or the beginning stages of possession. It's my job to figure that out. Okay, and I'll give you a perfect example. You have to learn to think outside of the box, and you have to learn, like as a demonologist, when I go to a location, I don't investigate. I have team members like my wife and them. They do that. I sit back and I observe everything. Okay, I am constantly observing every little thing that goes on in that environment. And I'm looking for subtle changes. I'm looking for clues, because demons have a certain way they like to operate. All right, now, I'll give you an example of how I was able to distinguish this from one client. So I was interviewing this female, and when I'm talking to her, I'm straight across. I'm paying attention to her body language. I'm paying attention to her eyes. Is she looking at me when she's talking? I'm paying attention to everything. And as I'm talking to this lady, I'm asking all the questions, and she's showing signs of maybe a very beginning stages or late stages of oppression, or beginning stages of possession, or the late stages of oppression. I need to figure out which one it is. So I noticed she didn't have shoes on. Okay. So I told her, I'm going to bless your house. We're going to do that first and see what happens. I make her go outside, and I have a team member go outside with them to keep them distracted while I'm doing it, because I have to have full control of the environment at all times. Okay. Now, so what I done was I took holy water and I rubbed it on the floor where her feet was, and I waited for it to dry. Now, why did I do that? Because if it was mental, she had absolutely no idea that I'd done it. Now, if it's mental, when she sits down, absolutely nothing's going to happen. So she needs to go get evaluated for schizophrenia or bipolar. If it's spiritual, as soon as she sits down, she's going to grab her feet and say it's on fire. She's going to go into a rage. So after I complete it, I tell her to come back in, and when she sits down, immediately she grabs her feet and says her feet was on fire. That tells me everything I need to know right there. So you have to learn to think outside of the box. Use the environment that you're in to your advantage to try to figure out what it is.
Okay. Man, you want somebody trained to be doing that. That's
right.
Slippery.
Yeah, and like another technique that I've used in the past. All right, you're sitting there, you're talking to a client. You look. We have meetings before we even go with my team. They know what their job is, what they need to do. So I said, "Are you thirsty? Yeah, I'm thirsty. Hey, pour this person a glass of water." Now he pours a little bit of holy water in the water with him, and he gives it to him. See what happens. Okay. You got to look at things like that. And also, I'll use techniques like I'll be in the middle of a conversation just talking about nothing, and I want you to say, Jesus is Christ. Just like that. And I'll wait and see, is it hard for them to say it? Did they say it right off the bat? And I always give it to them real fast so they don't have time to think about it. Let's just say, because there are people that I've been, they judge me. They want to see if I'm the real thing or not, right? So they send you there. It's almost like a trap. They want to see how much bullshit you got to shoot them. Okay, so you have to be on your game, and you have to do things very quickly where they don't have time to think about the environment. The demonologists, have to be in control all the time. That is what spiritual authority is.
Yeah, man. Okay, I'm done, Damien. I know we got just limited time left, so I will reserve myself.
I just want to toss in that I've been around many demonologists in my time, and Jereme is a standout compared to the other ones.
I wasn't too with what happened on 28 Days Haunted. Yeah,
you can lump in a large group of demonologists and psychic mediums and all those that can just be thrown away, and we're only left with like 10 or 20 that are like, oh shit, that's the real deal there,
Right.
I don't wear my priest outfit to conventions,
Yeah.
I never pretend to be nothing I'm not. That's
right. Right.
I mean, look, I'm going to tell you this. I don't care how knowledgeable you are, how long you've been doing this. One little slip up can cost you so much, like what happened to me. Look, so the show doesn't tell you how I got in that situation. If you watch the show when in the beginning, you can see it in my eyes. I'm projecting authority, right? I'm stern. I'm in control. What a thing is attacking Brandy. It's doing that in order to get to me. Okay, these things know what they're doing. They're very good at what they do. So whenever it says it's going to attack Brandy and Brandy starts crying, well, in that episode, you hear me say, if you want to get to her, you got to go through me. That was the biggest mistake I ever made in my life, because what did I do? I gave it permission now. I knew I was becoming the target, but this goes to prove to you how I wasn't prepared for 28 days. As a demonologist, I said, hey, I know the signs of oppression. I know how these things operate, right? I'll be able to resist it. No, I didn't think about me not being able to take, in a normal situation, I'm in that very dark environment for a little amount of time, a couple hours. You can't separate yourself from that energy there for 28 days. So it just pounces on you and it pounces on you. Look, deep down inside, I knew that I was becoming oppressed. But they're very clever at what they do. Oh, Jeremy, you're just over exaggerating. You want to go home. You got to take a cold shower. You got to eat freaking pizza pockets all the time because there's no stove. They convince you of that. What saved me, I think, from being completely taken over was when I went to the hospital. Now, here's the thing. I gave this thing a legal right whenever I said, if you want to get to Brandy, you got to go through me, which means it's now oppressing me. It's attached to me. It's going to follow me wherever I go. Look, I've been doing this long enough. I know I'm not bringing that shit home with me. I have I have a wife. I have kids. I was not bringing it home. That is why I confronted it, okay? I had to gain back spiritual authority. And anybody who knows anything about demonic cases, whether you're doing an exorcism on a person or a house, a demon will always lash out at you at the moment of expulsion, okay? Always. That is why when you see that vase fly off of that shelf, okay, I immediately stop because I'm not going to push the boundaries. Why? I just had a heart attack 2 days before.
Right.
What you don't know is that was the scariest moment, I think, of my life because I didn't have control. For the first time, I didn't have control. I was pretty outside looking in. Go ahead, Nick. I think he's got some ADD. I really think so.
He's created fire. He has created fire.
He has.
You really can build fires, Nick.
I see that.
I'm just
As a
setting the
fireman.
So
I'm the first bonfire to ever happen on Beer, Booze, and Boogeymen.
That is actually true.
You are.
Yeah.
That we've seen.
That we've seen anyway.
Yes.
Now, if you end up passing out, you wouldn't be the first to pass out on the show.
Now that would be a good show. Just you log on and you got Kristen and Joey going, and Damien said,
It wasn't even Damien. It was me.
Right on.
It was.
I was at a house party one time and found a dude that passed out taking a shit. That was a good time. Oh wow! That flame's really growing here. We got to flip the camera back.
But in Joey's defense, we were doing a telethon, so it was like a 5-hour long episode, and he was just continuously drinking whiskey every time somebody gave a donation to what we were doing. So
I took one to the team and said, if you donate $25, each $25 we get, I'll do a shot. And the bottle was pretty much an hour in. I think the bottle was gone. So
I'm gonna make a sizzle reel one of these days of just like timestamps of you throughout the show, because it was literally like this, like just over the course of the show, him just like sinking lower in his seat. He would like go away and come back in different clothes.
That's right.
It was very strange.
Yeah, I also had this like, the telethon thermometer things too, and slowly it was just like it was tilting because I kept hitting it as I was moving back. We did reach the amount of money though.
We did.
Only for Joey and Gil to be stranded by a hurricane. So
you didn't even get to go.
Yeah.
I'm in Iowa. That's why it's dark.
But I think we'll just leave the other two stories for next month. So
okay.
And speaking of next month, so our next episode, I think we decided on June 13th, because the first Saturday in June, as long as it all goes well, Joey will be joining me on his very first investigation.
Yes.
So, I've never been on one. So
congratulations.
Yeah.
So
we'll see how it goes.
I've got to. Like I said, all I got to do is send one text, and we're in that battlefield to investigate, Joey.
Nice.
Hopefully his first investigation is something like insane, like, all right, buddy, it's your
Right.
first one. We're going to Waverly.
Well,
You're going down the death tunnel by yourself at midnight. Good luck.
Oh God.
That's my
Dude.
big boy.
You have got to be in killer good shape to walk all the way down that death tunnel and all the way back up. Because I've been there 3 times and I only made it down the first time. The second 2 times, I just said, screw this. I'm not walking all the way down and all the way back up.
Yeah, to Uber back to the top.
Yeah, it was. it's. But no, there's a battlefield about 2 hours from us that a team from Memphis is wanting us to join them to investigate. And so hopefully, if all goes well, Joey will be going on his very first investigation in about a month.
Hopefully there's no
All
more
right.
hurricanes.
Oh,
Make a
Hurricane's
believer
not-
out of that boy.
Hurricane's not going to stop you this time. Maybe a tornado, but a hurricane's not going to stop you
that's
this
true,
time,
yeah.
buddy.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I think next month we decided on June 13th, and I think Kristen tossed out the idea of kind of a possession type episode, like something took over my body.
Did I? Yeah.
You did.
Yeah, that sounds right.
ah,
It was weeks ago. I don't remember, but yes, that sounds about right.
So yeah, it's if you've ever just been doing anything and you kind of blacked out and you don't
Something
remember
took
what happened,
over. Yeah.
and something just took over and there was people to witness it. We want to chat about that. We want to
Mhm.
know what happened.
Hey, let's
and what
chat
you
about it
remember.
right now.
They're not
Remember
talking
when I
about
said
the-
I was in that when I earlier in the show I said I was in that Psychomantium on
Uh-huh.
28 Days Haunted for 2 hours.
Mhm.
I was actually convinced that it was only 30 minutes.
Oh shit!
And I had a walkie-talkie and I was talking to the producer. I said, "Well, that was fast." And he goes, "No, it wasn't fast. You were gone for 2 hours." And I started like panicking and hyperventilating, like,
Oh,
"Oh
shit.
shit. Oh shit." Like I had time loss
Oh.
and like, yeah, it was
Oh.
insane.
What happened? What the hell? Huh.
Don't know. And somewhere, like we've said, that's just in the Netflix archives. Like, here's a legit guy, 6'7", 330 something pounds, freaking out because he was convinced it was only 30 minutes when in reality it was actually 2 hours of him just sitting in this red room looking at a mirror that was
Right.
slightly angled and yeah, like full on panic. And normally I'm a pretty chill dude, as you can
Mhm.
see.
Right.
Yeah.
6 foot tall fire there. Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah.
I can't believe that didn't make it on. Like honestly, I can't believe that didn't
Right.
make it
Right.
there.
Like
Did
Right.
that
You
sound
know-
something? I would look at that and be like, that's what you people want to see.
Mhm.
Oh, hold on. I need a prop for this one.
Another chainsaw.
Is it the chainsaw?
I actually have multiple chainsaws that I could get out and use, but what are these?
dowsing rod.
Dowsing rods.
All right, so we were in that cemetery across the street, and we were standing on top of Mercy Adelaide's grave, the lady that lived at Captain Grant's, and right next to her grave is Captain Grant. We had just happened to have these bastards, and I'm walking over Mercy Adelaide's grave, and they go zoop,
Oh.
come together and touch, separate once I leave her grave, like they're supposed to. I go over Captain Grant's grave, and they stay just like this the entire time.
Hmm.
So he's not there. He was
Mhm.
lost at sea, and he remained lost at sea. And Mercy forever haunts that house because she's still waiting for him to come back. His grave is actually a memorial.
No.
And Netflix just decided to leave that out. I mean,
see,
The whole
there's
story.
actual like water and power companies that use these to find shit
Yeah.
and are 100% accurate. And you walk over a grave and it's going to show you the void in the ground that's disrupting the magnetic field. And so
Well-
you'd have a pretty good story there that Mercy haunts this house because her husband never returned from his voyage at sea, because he was like a captain of like a ship that carried like goods from like the South up to New York City, because the town we were in Connecticut, I can't remember right now because I've had too many bush lights.
Hold on, Preston or Prescott?
Preston, Connecticut.
Okay.
Preston, Connecticut is, it's just right across the bay from New York City pretty much. So yeah, it makes sense to have a captain that would be like, moving goods and stuff there on the ship. And yeah, he was lost at sea forever. They never found him, and they just put a headstone in to memorialize him, and he's not there. And Netflix is like, nah, let's air more fights.
Bring the drama. Would somebody build a 6-foot fire, please? Please.
Right.
Wow, that's insanely compelling. Let's show another fist fight.
All right. I do have one last question before we start to wrap things up. Would any of you guys be willing to do, say, this type of an investigation again? Not with Netflix, but say somebody that says, I want to put this on YouTube. I want to show what Netflix isn't going to show. Let's put everything in there and just show everything. Would you be, any of you be willing to do this again?
Yes.
There's your answer.
Yeah,
answer for me is
me and Nick have joked about doing this. Yeah.
Go ahead, Ray.
I was gonna say, me and Nick have joked around about going to a location and doing this again. We'll just make sure we have plenty of beer and alcohol so that we can have a really good time.
Well, see,
Yeah.
that would be way more entertaining. It'd be worth the watch.
Oh yeah, because nobody thought about it. All 3 locations, none of us thought about the fact that like when we were getting groceries and stuff, we could have gotten alcohol. We all were like trying to be professional,
Right.
and like we could have just been toasted the whole time and had like a really good experience.
Right.
But
Yeah. 28 days on, and it cuts to me outside of Captain Grant's with a lawnmower. I'm mowing the air. I'm mowing the air,
Randy.
just like on
Mowing the air, Randy.
mowing the air, Randy.
That is funny that you say that you were like, we didn't think we could have bought beer. They could have just, if you had done that, they might have been like, all right, maybe, who knows what they would have done. They might have not let it. I don't know. But.
They really didn't question anything we put on our grocery list. Like they bought it without question. So I don't think they would have said anything about it.
I grilled spam one night on the grill and tried to feed it to Sean and Aaron, and they were like, "Oh no!" I'm like, "This is fucking awesome. What are you guys talking about?"
Right. I feel like if I was at a location for just 3 or 4 days with the same people, and it's the only people I see, I feel like I would need a beer or two after just a few days. Much less 28 days.
Yeah.
Nothing against the people I was with, but when you're just there with the same people and you don't see anybody else, and they're always there, like I feel like I would need a drink. You could love the person to death, but it's like, hey, I need a drink. Get the fuck away from me for a minute.
Most nights production was packed up and they were done, and everything was done at like midnight.
Right.
So we would have had plenty of time to knock back a few.
Right.
For me, it would have been like 10, but
All right. Well, before we wrap this thing up, do you guys have anything going on? You guys want to promote or anything? Any conventions, anything YouTube wise, anything you guys got going on?
No.
I'm doing the Greek Con, which is a huge Comic Con in Shreveport, Louisiana. I got that coming up. I think I'm doing a Paracon somewhere up by you toward the end of the year. Somewhere up there. Yeah, I think it might be either Iowa or Idaho. I don't know. I have to ask my wife. She's the one to take care of all of that. But yeah, I got that coming.
Let me know. I will clear my schedule to be there.
Hey, make sure don't bring Bush, all right? You gotta be Frank Miller like.
Only men.
I tell you
Bass
this.
Pro Shops.
Whenever Beer, Booze, and Boogeymen gets together again to do an investigation, we would love to have any of you guys join us.
Just let me know. I'll
Yeah,
be
for
there.
sure. Yep.
Because
All you got to do is reach out.
Yeah, y'all ever down in the South, man? Look me up.
I live in
maybe.
Tennessee, and so does
Yeah.
Joey, and so does Gil.
Oh,
Gil
okay.
lives in North
I'm in
North
Nashville.
Carolina. Yep.
Mhm.
I
So
may be
see, I'm
heading
in
there
Georgia,
sooner
so you
rather
guys
than
are,
later.
you guys are,
I just
You guys are
left
right
Tennessee.
down the
I went
road
to
from me.
Gatlinburg about 2 months ago.
Heck yeah.
Gatlinburg, Pigeon Forge, it was nice.
Oh yeah.
Oh man.
Get off the Dollywood.
Yep, that's where we went. Dolly Parton was
Ray,
my
Ray,
wife,
you broke up on my end when you were talking just then. Where'd you say you was at?
Who,
I'm
me?
in Georgia, so I'm right up the road from you guys. I'm right down the road in Georgia, so
Mm-hmm.
All right. Hell yeah.
I'm down in the swamp.
Yeah. Yeah.
Louisiana.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was in Slidell for like 2 years.
Yeah, so
Not
that ain't
too long
far from me. I
ago.
live in Ponchatoula.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
And I'm the Yankee.
The one with fire and Bush Light.
He eats a lot of corn.
Well,
I'm in Davenport, Iowa. So if you're looking at Iowa on a map, I'm right here.
right there on the tip.
Right there on the tip.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, Chris and Joey, you guys got anything else?
No, man. I'm on break with my regular show, so I ain't got any announcements. Nothing fun to share.
Joey, what about you? You got any gigs coming up, man?
Not at the moment. I'll be headed back to Asheville though to play a few shows. Coming up in June. So
Hell yeah. I'm gonna have to get you hooked up and playing some shows close to where I live.
What are you're in a band?
Yeah. Well, I'm a singer
yeah.
and guitar player. Yeah.
Shit,
Play
what-
Freebird.
I
play
can
guitar.
actually.
I play the guitar too. I just got the Kurt Cobain Jag Stang.
Oh, nice.
Fender. Yeah, they're expensive, but it's very nice.
Very
So
expensive.
the only other person I seen with a can was Kristen. So can you hold up your can and grab it like this?
Oh Lord, what? What?
Look at that little baby hand.
I can only do like half of mine.
Shut the fuck up, Nick.
Look, it's a
Jesus.
regular sized can. No, it's not. It's a little baby can.
That's a
No.
big old hand, dude. 6'7". Can you? I can't imagine. I don't think I've ever
Oh,
met anybody 6'7".
Jesus.
Oh God, no! Stop.
Hey,
Oh,
real
my
quick
gosh.
though, we got a singer and guitar player with Joey. We got a guitar player, Jereme, and Ray. You play something, right? You're a
I'm
musician.
a drummer. Yeah. I
Drummer.
play drums.
Yeah,
We got a
nice.
band, you guys.
Heck yeah.
I play bass guitar.
So do I. I play both. I play a 6-string and bass.
Yeah.
I'm
There you
better.
go.
At,
Got a full
I'm
band.
better at the electric guitar than bass. I just picked up bass about a year or two ago, and I just fiddle around with it.
I played
But
the recorder in
if-
6th grade.
If Ray and I started a band and you guys joined, you wouldn't be able to hang. Sorry.
All right.
The garbage that Ray and I listen to is
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. What do you listen to?
Whitechapel.
Whitechapel. There you go.
I'm pretty sure I've heard of them. I know I've heard of them. I can't think of any songs right off the top of my head, but I'm gonna listen.
Yeah, we listen to the stuff that everybody hates.
Yeah, you want to know what's weird? So lately I got into this YouTube thing. I've never been interested in YouTube. I grew up in the 90s, so grunge, alternative music. That's my thing. I could play any Kurt Cobain song that was ever wrote. But
Right.
I was watching Marty. He's a guitar teacher on YouTube, and he was playing In the Name of Love. So I just got interested, and I learned how to play that, and now it kind of spawned into The Name of Love. Just every freaking YouTube they ever have. She Moves in Mysterious Ways. That's the latest one. I'm like, I'm really getting old, man.
Yeah.
Go full circle.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Well, if
Yeah, YouTube will get you there.
yeah, it will. Well, if nobody else has anything, I think we're going to go ahead and wrap this thing up. Normally, we'll wrap this up with each host giving a little toast. Since we're missing one, we're going to let you guys fill in the gap. So,
All right, I got
off.
it right here. I got the toast right here.
All right.
If the river was whiskey and I was a duck, I'd sit on the shore and watch crawdaddies fuck. Wait. Oh, wait, I fucked it up. Hold on. If the river was whiskey and I was a duck, I'd swim to the bottom and never come up. But the river ain't whiskey and I ain't the duck, so I'm going to sit on the shore and watch crawdaddies fuck. Right, Jeremy?
Hey, right here, back at the gap. There they are. There they are.
All right. Cheers.
Oh,
Cheers,
my goodness.
everybody.
That was beautiful.
All right. Oh, that was good shit. All right.
That can be our closing toast if you want.
That can be.
Yeah.
All
That
right.
can be.
Wait, we
All
have to
right.
do. All right.
All right. So until next time, here's a toast to the ghost in your hall.
The Bigfoot hiding in your yard.
And to 28 days.
I don't remember.
Not being long enough.
You don't even remember it. All right. Thank you, guys.
Cheers, everybody. Thank you guys.
Cheers,
for joining us.
everybody.
See ya.
Have a great night.
You too.